Now we want to look at another rule for using an integration. Now, as we've said in class, there's not as many rules that we have to follow for integration as there are for differentiation. So there's only one more that we really need to follow when we talk about polynomials, and that's this one here, where we've got a function inside a bracket. So it's a bit like a function of a function rule and reversing that, except the only thing is this function here must be linear. So it has to be in the form ax plus b. It won't be ax squared plus b or anything else. It has to be a linear function. So if you get an ax squared plus b, you won't be able to do that. Or ax cubed, or ax power 4, or ax power minus 5. Like anything like that. We can't work it. It has to be in this form only. So that's the only one you're going to get in a 2-unit course. Those people doing extension 1 will face harder ones, but you need more techniques that we don't have in the 2-unit course. So this is the only one you're going to see there. So once we've got to do the integration there, we're not going to expand that out. You could if it's small enough. But if it's power of 10, you're not going to expand it out to try and integrate it. So what we need to do is actually use this rule here. So we keep the bracket the same. So the bracket stays the same. We add 1 to the power. And then we divide by the power, but then we also divide by the coefficient of x. So you can see the ax there. We divide by the coefficient of x there, which is the a, so n plus 1 times a. So that's the rule we've got to follow. Now these rules are given to you in the table of standard integrals, so if you don't remember, you'll be able to go to a paper in the exams and find out. Notice we're starting to use that integration symbol a bit more as we've talked about in class. So let's have a look at some examples of what we're following here. So we've got 3x plus 2 to the power of 4. We don't want to expand it out. It would just become really hard to do. So what we need to do is keep our bracket the same. We add 1 to the power. So that's why the 4 now becomes 5. We divide by the new power, which is 5 there. We also divide by the coefficient of x, which is 3. So that's why we get the 5 times the 3. So we're dividing by 5 and dividing by 3, which means we're dividing by 15 in the end. So and that's what we're going to do. We're not going to expand it out. We're just going to leave it in that form. So 2 minus 2x to the power of 3. Again, we're going to add 1 to the power. Bracket stays the same. Divide by the new power. And also divide by the coefficient of x. Now the coefficient of x is minus 2. Don't forget the minus. We've got a minus in front, so it has to be divided by minus 2, which means our answer is going to be negative out the front. We can multiply the 4 and 2 to give us 8 there, but that's okay. This one, x plus 3 to the power of 2, well, we're going to add 1 to the power, divide by the power. Technically what we're doing here is to multiply that by 1 as well, because the coefficient of x is 1 in that case. But seeing it's 1, we don't include it, so we just leave it in that form. So the next one, 7x minus 4, power of 3, we add 1 to the power, divide by the new power, multiply by the coefficient of x, which is the 7. So it gives us 28 on the bottom. Notice the bracket is staying the same inside all the time. Question 5, 8 minus 3x to the power of 6, add 1 to the power to give us 7, divide by the 7, and divide by the minus 3, which is the coefficient of x, to give us the minus 21. 9x plus 5 to the power of 10, add 1 to the power, divide by the power, multiply in the bottom by the coefficient of x, so 11 times 9, so we're dividing by 99 all up. 6x minus 5 to the power of minus 2, again we're going to have to add, so don't forget, minus 2 plus 1 goes to minus 1. Don't make the simple errors. So divide by the minus 1, and we're dividing by 6. So the minus 1 times 6 will just give us a minus 6 there. If you want to write that with a positive indice and put it on the bottom, you can do that. But we're quite happy to see it in this form. 3x plus 2, power of minus 3. We add 1 to give us the minus 2. We divide by the minus 2. We divide by the 3. Clean it up to give us the minus 6 there. So be really careful. Keep applying that rule. Apply it enough, you will learn that rule, and I'm sure you'll do enough of those applications so you can learn that rule. Just be really careful with all the signs that you're going to face, and be careful with all the indice work, so making sure we're adding 1 to the indice and not subtracting it at any stage.